Welcome to That Annuity Show, the podcast that will make you an expert in explaining annuities to your clients. Give us 30 minutes each week and we'll shave hours from your client presentations. Now, here's your host, Paul Tyler.
Hi, this is Paul Tyler, and welcome to another episode of That Annuity Show. And with me are my regular co-hosts. Ramsey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Great to be here.
Will, good to have you. And Mark. Same,
Paul. Great to be here.
Same location, same place, same chair.
That's it.
And with us is a very special guest, and I want to introduce her, Cathy DeWitt-Dunn. And, Cathy and I actually worked together when I was at another carrier, and Cathy was one of our outstanding reps, not only for production, but her innovation in reaching customers through various forms of digital media and using it really to create, in my words, Cathy, not yours, an amazing human connection. When I talk to people and tell them about what I saw you do, was really kind of using the best of digital to make better connections when people actually would meet or come to your offices. But with that, can you just introduce yourself and tell people a bit about your practice and extent of the sort of the organization you've built?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me today. Paul, as you know, like over the last several years, as we've gotten to know each other, we focused in probably, if you go back 20 years ago, we were just basically an annuity shop, and that's what we did, and life insurance and long-term care and things of that nature. But over the last 20 years and being on the air here in the DFW area, we've decided to kind of take our practice to the next level. So we are now going to become an RIA here. Things are pending with FINRA right now, but due to the coronavirus, things have been slowed down a little bit. But we work primarily helping people prepare for retirement and taking them through retirement. And the biggest thing is just taking the complexity out of their income planning, because everybody needs to have an income plan. So it's been a great journey. We love our clients. We've been here for a long time. And, we did take the platform to more of a social media aspect many, many years ago. And we've developed a great website versus paying for somebody to do pay-per-click for us. We've put all that money organically in our website. And we just saw that years ago as, the beginning of what we now see now, right? So, radio probably has come down a little bit as far as listenership, and people are looking more like for what you all are doing. They're looking for, podcast on demand. And we're just trying to, adapt to the market in the best that we can with everything that's happening.
Yeah, maybe you could talk to us a little bit. Just, we've had a number of people on our show who have, they've been product experts. They've been providing counseling and coaching services for agents. And a lot of discussion has been around helping agents try to figure out how to get their business started at this point in time. What do you find? How are your clients responding, to this environment? Do they want to talk to you? Do they want to come in person? Are you working by phone? Are you working over Zoom? How are you adapting your processes to this environment?
That's a great question. So initially when all this lockdown happened, it was like Zoom. What is Zoom? I mean, I'm pushing almost 60. So all of this technology and Zoom and meeting with people and getting everything down to a science was kind of a little bit difficult for me on that, just because, Zoom is a powerful vehicle now. But I find that, just being able to let your clients know that you're available by conference call, by Zoom, maybe FaceTime, good old-fashioned meetings now that things are coming back to normal. So what we've done before is our platform was come to our office. We don't go out and meet with clients in their homes and things of that nature, but we would always say, come to the office and come to the office. But now things have really changed. So we've had to adapt. So based upon whoever we're talking with, we give them all the different options on how we can provide resources to them, get them the information so they can make a great decision. So I found that by reaching out to the different prospects on how they want to go and get the information, it has really helped us versus us just sitting here in our office waiting for people to show up, because we know that's a difficult challenge right now for people.
Cathy, do you notice any difference in terms of the format that your clients want to engage with based on demographics based on age? Like, do certain age sectors like Zoom better than others, or a conference call more so? Any differences that you're seeing?
Yeah, I find now the older people are so excited and they know how to do Zoom, and because all the church platforms have gone to Zoom. So they're very
All
excited
right.
that they're able to log on, and they feel like they're, some of my clients that are in their 70s and 80s are kind of like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have had this when I was 40. They just absolutely love it. And I always tell my clients, when we're talking, well, I don't know if I can do Zoom. I said, well, here's the thing. Let me send you a link, and then you call your grandkids, and then they'll be able to tell you how to log on.
Right,
So,
right.
so that's really gone over quite well. And we've actually have helped people log on, talk to them about how to do it, walked them through. We talk about it even on the radio show. So I think by holding their hands to let them become empowered has really made a big difference in my practice.
So you've been able to use Zoom, FaceTime, all these tools really to not miss a beat?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, if you're just going to be sitting in your office and if we take a look at what The Economist just recently said, that the advisor world is going digital. So you better get with it, and you better jump on board, because people like me and other people around in this area are taking advantage of it. So you don't want to be left out. And it's uncomfortable at first, but once you get the hang of it, I remember the first time I had to share my screen on Zoom, I was so nervous, but now it's just second nature to me. And I think this is the sign of things to come. I really do.
So Cathy, just to give people sort of a flavor of how your clients are coming in. Now, I know you have a podcast. You've got a radio show, correct? Can
Yes.
you kind of walk us through how if I'm in the area, how many different ways am I coming in contact with you and your firm?
Yeah, so we do, I've been very fortunate. We've worked very hard to develop a great practice here in the area. And we do radio shows. I've got radio shows on 4 major stations here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I do a lot of personal appearances on Fox and NBC for financial content and news. I also have done a lot of paid-for TV programming on the CBS National show here in town, like a 2-minute spot with Jane Pauley, like while she's doing her show, I come on. So we do that. We also have, our website, as far as how we've optimized our website with our with SEO. A lot of people can just Google annuities or 401k rollovers or retirement income, and if you're in my area, you're going to probably find me. So we're across the board, because I think you really have to reach, and you've got to go to all the different platforms to truly be successful. The Yellow Pages way back in the day, if you weren't advertising, they couldn't find you, right? So now things have really changed.
So Cathy, one of the things that you're noted for is effective use of video to effectively bring your clients sort of down the funnel. So I'd love to hear how you've done that, because sounds like you've adopted Zoom very recently and very quickly, which is fantastic. But you were an innovator on the use of video going back any number of years. So tell us about how you started doing that, and what are the key elements of success there?
Right. So what we did is, on our website at DeWitt-Dunn.com, we have a 5 or 6 part video series, and they're very short videos, and we just recently updated them. So it lets the investor or the consumer take a look at how the annuity world has changed. We don't talk about specific products or companies or anything of that nature. We do talk about how, in each little video, the different types of annuities, what they have to offer, crediting methods, and things of that nature. So once people have watched those videos, then our website is on automation. And based upon what they do on our website, they get enrolled into a marketing program that slowly drips on them with additional videos or with a white paper. And it's targeted to what they have selected as interest on our website. So if they're looking at annuities, they're going to get information on annuities. If they're looking for accumulation or for lifetime income that's guaranteed for them and their spouse, it's going to lay out for them what the difference is of the two different types of annuities. If they're looking for long-term care insurance, and that's kind of their focus, then they get enrolled in a long-term care drip email. Also for life insurance, and if it's wealth management as well. So we have targeted marketing that's going on behind the scenes 24/7. So we can move as fast as they want to go, or as slow as the investor wants to go. And then we also get notifications that they've looked at our videos or they've opened up our white paper. So then we know that we've engaged the consumer, and then we'll be able to follow up with them. So it's very unique, but it's been very successful for us because it allows us to focus in on what they're looking for.
Hey Cathy, this is really, really interesting, and you've developed quite a level of visibility and sophistication with regard to your use of videos. Did you do that in-house? Do you have a marketing department within your organization? I mean, how did you get this far down the pathway?
Well, that's a great question. It's pretty interesting. So we started off with we went to Best Buy and we bought a video camera years ago, and we put it on a tripod, and we just started to roll videos out. And I do have somebody in my office that did a YouTube video on how to edit videos. So we started off very low budget way back when, but it was just to have transparency. I see one of the biggest challenges in our industry is people are so afraid to say the A word, annuity, and they want to run away from it. And my biggest thing is you want to run right to it, and you want to run to the disclosures, because that is your best friend and that is the consumer's best friend. And I don't want to have people think that they're looking at an alternative asset class when I'm really talking to them about annuities. So it was just very powerful to really let the consumers know annuities are a great thing. They're a great, I don't care what you call it, it's what it does for you, right? So we just started off just with our own videos, and we were pretty successful with that. And then I did find a video company here in town that kind of streamlined and made them a little crisper than what we could do. And we started to add lights and things of that nature, and then pop up, screens and showing them, the difference between accumulation and income. So it kind of started to grow, and it was a little, just because we were so successful with it. I mean, you don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars, right? You could even do it we have some videos on our website that were even, we created them with an iPhone. So, it's just being out there, letting people see you. And I think having them engage with you, and so they can see that you're real. They know what you look like before they come out to meet with you, and they get a feel for who you are. So I think it's really important to have videos out there.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just in terms of the what you're hearing from your customers, I mean, how has the pandemic impacted seniors? I could make an argument, probably not that much. The whatever reason, equity markets seem to be doing great things, and if you are retired, I'm not sure. Has it really impacted my 401k or my savings? Has it changed my sort of concerns a lot?
Yeah, I think though that on average, most people, as they get closer to retirement or they're in retirement, they're not chasing returns.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is they're looking for preservation of capital. They're looking for a fair rate of return, but they're looking for income to replace the paycheck that they just lost when they retired, right? So, maybe they need to have exposure to some of their money in the equity market, but the money that they need to cover all their basic expenses. And what we find is when people retire, they spend more money in retirement because they're having fun. They were going on vacations, but vacations, time with their kids, new hobbies. I can't tell you how many people with the building market that we just recently had, they were buying new homes, and so their expenses were going way up. So they did not want to take the risk. And that's one of the biggest things that annuities can do, is mitigate the risk and make sure that they have their capital there and that they can have income.
What do you find that's the biggest surprise to clients when they go into retirement? Is it the fact that they're spending much more than they expect, or is it that they didn't realize what their assets would generate in income when they turn that accumulation strategy to income strategy?
Yeah, I think that is one of the big aha moments when they're in retirement. So they work so hard to accumulate all this money. And then all of a sudden, let's go back to like March of 2020, right? So I'm taking 5 or 6% off my portfolio, but the market just went down 30%. So the aha moment is that those numbers just don't end up working, right? So,
Right.
you know, I think a lot of people right now are scared. I think the equity markets are scaring a lot of people, even though they continue to go up, because we know what goes up is probably going to come down. And I think generating income off of a portfolio is much more difficult for someone who's retiring because they want predictable income. And then also to your point, Mark, they're spending more money than they ever thought. I mean, things are not getting less expensive. Medical's going up, and that's a key factor when it comes to generating income, is that the expenses just continue to go up. So I think it's just really having a plan that you can count on that's going to be there. And they can't do it on their own. I mean, it's very difficult to go out there on a big platform and figure out how you're going to withdraw money. And when CDs and money markets and bonds, that market is just not generating the fixed income that it used to. It's scary
Right.
times for people, I think.
Without a doubt.
So
Yeah.
Cathy, what is the profile of the typical clients you're seeing? Are they sort of mass affluent? So call it $250 to $1 million in investable. Are they high net worth, low end of high net worth, high end of high net worth? Like who is the sort of the strongest audience that you're seeing for the annuity solutions you're providing?
For what we're working with right now, because how I'm trying to position this is a solve for fixed income. So when we take a look at all the different types of annuity products out there, I'm going after the bond, the money markets, and the CDs, and that's drawing out a very high net worth client. So on average, the clients that we're working with, their portfolios are anywhere from $2 to $5 million that of investable assets. Not that, I mean, they may have emergency funds and things other places, but we're really going after that market because those are the people that are conservative, that aren't chasing returns, that want to solve for income.
I think that's fantastic. I think there's often this view that annuities are for, are primarily for the mass affluent, but I think that for consumers in precisely that wealth category you've outlined, a chunk of guaranteed income in their portfolio is just extraordinarily valuable in and of itself, but also it puts them in a position to take a bit more risk on the rest of their portfolio. So it's very good to hear that you're having a lot of success there.
Yeah, and I think we're also having success with the MIGA rates that are out there as well, right? Because you can't go to a bank, even jumbo CDs aren't paying anything. And if you go to bankrate.com, the rates are just horrible right now. So you could have guaranteed lifetime income. You could also get a MIGA rate, and then you could take some, risk in the equity markets. But the biggest amount of money that people have right now, they want to have a guaranteed rate of return. And a MIGA is a great solution because it's not even linked to any indice. It's not in the market. So everybody needs to have assets that are related or exposed in the marketplace. So we're seeing a lot of MIGAs as well.
So when you're talking to people about MIGAs, I mean, I guess there's two sources of competition. So one you highlighted, which was bank CDs. Do you often also see some competition from bond managers? So sort of see those are kind of the two potential areas where there's potential challenge with respect to a MIGA.
Yeah, well, I think, one of the challenges is that when somebody goes to get a bond, what's the length of that bond? What's par going to be later down the road? So there's a lot of unknowns, right? So at least right now, I know that I can generate a fixed return. I can give you your money back at the end of the term. You can access more money if you needed to. And on a bond portfolio, what if you needed to go get 10% because something happened, right? Well, you're going to have to pay some form of a liquidation fee to get out of that bond. So it really turns that fixed income model upside down. So we're seeing a lot of the bond investors come to us for that very reason.
Interesting. So just sort of in terms of product design and where the future may lie or lay, now, Cathy, you mentioned you're applying for have your own RIA. Do you see this as a separate practice that complements the annuities, or do you sort of flip side question is, and I've heard this, year after year, and it's taken a while to, it hasn't quite happened yet, is we will start to see no load annuities come out that you can actually sell underneath your investment contract. How will annuities, interact with your RIA business? Where do you see the future headed here?
Yeah, I have, just from what we can see, is because we do case design for our clients right now. We're only taking a portion of their money and putting it in the annuity, as all advisors should do. And when we're taking a look at maybe a $4 or $6 million portfolio, and we're taking $1 or $2 million in the annuity, there's a lot of money that we're not capturing. We do have a registered investment advisor that's capturing that right now, but as a firm, we'd like to put it all under one umbrella.
Got it. What are the questions for Cathy?
So I've got lots. I don't want to monopolize here. So yeah, I think I'm very interested to hear a little what is it you would want the products to look like? So Paul asked about what the future is of certainly annuities for RIAs is one, but given that you've got great production every year, what is it that you want to see more of? Do you want to see more simplicity? Do you want to see more complexity? Do you want to see certain features? What is your wish list for the product you would design, the annuity product you would design as Cathy DeWitt-Dunn?
Yeah, I think right now there's so many great strategies on the market. I like the liquidity features on some of the annuities where you can take out 10% after 30 days. Just being able to have that available for our clients. I've not had one client even utilize that, but it's such a great aspect of liquidity for the client initially, right? I'm more inclined to look at, the 7-year products are really great. And that seems to really be a sweet spot right now for the consumer. But then again, if you take a look at the rates on some of the strategies, the 10 years look great, but the challenge is the participation rates that are going to change between now and then, in 10 years. Mm-hmm. So the 7-year is, 7 and 6 years are pretty good products. I do like if I were to design a product, I would say, we're going to give you 60% of the S&P 500 or 50%, and we're never going to change that participation rate for the length of the contract. So then what happens with the contract? Is that going to only be for 4 years? Is it 6 years? How far out actuarially can you go on a strategy like that? Those would be some great features, because then having that conversation later down the road on participation rates won't be there when you're doing annual reviews. So that would really be something that I'd like to see. But I also understand how that works behind the scenes. But nobody understands it better than you, Alex.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
No worries. So yeah, what you just described, there's a derivative behind that, and those are the derivatives we used to provide to life insurance companies. So that can be done. It can be done. It can be expensive, but it can be done.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a great strategy just from the advisors, because I think a lot of advisors out there struggle explaining the derivative, the option, the expense behind the scene, interest rates, because there's a lot that goes on inside of a fixed indexed annuity or other products that a lot of advisors just don't probably understand the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
And Cathy, you mentioned using the guaranteed income components behind, an FIA. Are you utilizing other combination benefit features like critical care benefits, guaranteed roll-up death benefits? Or are you kind of exclusively sticking to the income components of them?
What it really comes down to based on what the client's looking for, right? So I don't have one product or one strategy that I just gear them to. So if I have somebody that comes in and says, I never want to touch this money, and with the highest death benefit that's available in the market, what do you have? So we have some great roll-up products for that. I will tell you that right now it's interesting when we see such volatility in the market, how the market kind of shifts from accumulation and then it goes to income. And then, once the markets settle out, maybe it'll go back to accumulation. But I think, the challenge is making sure when you're working with your clients that you're working for them not for you, and finding the solution for them. So, you know, we're kind of all over the place just because we're solving for what the client's looking for, and we're not trying to put everybody in the same product or the same box, because it's virtually impossible, right?
Absolutely. There's so many different needs out there.
Right.
So great to hear you say that too, Cathy, because you're absolutely right. We wouldn't expect to see a product or strategy, concentration at all, really, given what the diversity of client needs.
Yeah, and especially, you know, right now with this, you know, as our generation, you take a look at society and people are getting older, they're living longer. I'm having more 80 and 90-year-olds reaching out to me, you know, and it's because I've been on the radio for so long. So now, you know, you're solving for a fixed rate, or, you know, there's just so many different components that go into putting a plan in place that's right for the client.
Do you have, I think Mark alluded to this earlier, do you have, you know, when he asked you about how, you know, different demographics are reacting to this kind of digital, online type interface, do you have a certain target demographic that you're going after? Do you have clients that are on the younger ages? I know we always kind of talk about annuities and their correlation to retirement years, but I mean, are you starting to work with people at you know, younger ages when they're in that accumulation phase?
We are. It's interesting, you know, if you take a look at the 40 and 50-year-olds, they just don't really want to have the risk in the portfolio. I think, you know, they heard the scare and the panic with the .com era and the 9/11, and then we had, you know, 08, and, you know, if they want to take risk with their portfolio, that's not the money they're bringing to us. But I would find that most people right now just want to make sure they get a fair rate of return. Their money's going to be there, because everybody wants, I don't want to lose my money. I want to make as much money as I can. I want to have access to my money. You know, it's all the same thing. But as I tell people, there's a give and take on that, right? So you can't have it all. And, you know, the 40 and 50-year-olds are saying that they don't really have to have their money at risk in the market to get a great rate of return, because then they just got burned again, like in March. And I think people are tired of that. You know, the market looks great, but I'm seeing that that's more on the institutional side there. The investors not seeing those types of returns.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, Cathy, thanks so much for spending time with us, and it's great to catch up. Let me ask you, for agents or customers, where should they go to find out more about you and your offerings, and you know, maybe ways that they could work with you?
Sure, you could just reach out to me at DeWitt-Dunn.com. You got to spell out the and you could go and see all of our website is very interactive, so you can really see a lot of what we're doing. If you want to watch our videos and, you know, take a look at everything, just do me a favor, make sure when you put your name in, put parentheses agent. That way you won't be hounded by my staff, because every time you open up an email, I get a notification. So, you know, we know it's interesting. So we really keep tabs on who's on our website, what they're doing. But, you know, feel free to get all the different marketing emails, you know, or just send me an email and reach out to me. And thank you for having me today. It was great to catch up with you, Paul.
Oh, likewise. And, you know, fellow podcaster, you know, thanks for being guests on our show. And listen, good luck the rest of this year, and love to have you back at some point.
Well, I'd love to be on, and it was great to visit with you all. I hope you all have a great day, and thanks again.
Right. Okay.
Thanks, Cathy. Take care.
All right. And please tune again next week for another episode of That Annuity Show.
Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend us on iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information at thatannuityshow.com.